Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit is here back again with Fate Zero. We're on Season 2, Episode 5. And in the last couple of episodes, like the last recording session definitely took its toll on the characters because they're all fucking dying. Everyone's dying! We start off with Episode 3 where, you know, it was entirely based around, you know, Kenneth and Lancer. Lancer and Saber finally getting to the point where they can have their fight, you know, and have it be an honourable duel, and whoever comes out on top, you know, would be declared the winner by all fair, you know, fair rules and all that. And yeah, Emiya wasn't having none of that. He used that opportunity to basically put Kenneth in a no-win situation. And yeah, I did put in the video, like I did stop in the reaction and pointed out that I did miss that little sort of that little detail of Lancer actually turning to Saber and sort of actually calling her a traitor, which makes it all the more tragic. Like after I'd, you know, edited the episode and whatnot, like it just made me feel like just even more tragic because in that moment, like, Lancer was betrayed by everyone. You know what I mean? Even Saber. And it just that makes it all the more, like, sort of heart-wrenching. Because I did say, like, you know what I mean, the person who I felt for most in that situation was Lancer. And, I think most people, if not everyone, would. Because out of everyone in that situation, he came off the fucking worst. Like, he basically ended his life thinking that he was entirely on his own, and he you know what I mean, and that everyone betrayed him, which is it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. And then yeah, and then, you know, they ended up killing Kenneth and Solar anyway. There was a which I don't know how I didn't pick up on this. At the end of episode 3, right, I basically said, oh my god, Emiya is basically like his and Lelouch's ideals from Code Geass basically reign true, right? And I didn't even fucking pick up. I don't know why I didn't. But the spell, the scroll thing, it's a gear spell or a gear scroll. Do you know how close that is? Fuck. I don't know what came first. I think it was Code Geass. but fuck me, that's close. Anyway, and then we had episode 4, which was all about Tokyomi, Kiria, and Archer, Gilgamesh. Kiria and Gilgamesh basically. So a number of people pointed out, yeah, like there was a reason why Tokyomi felt safe was because Archer was actually supposed to be there. He didn't count on Archer betraying him, obviously. So yeah, I guess there's that kind of thing. But damn, like it still rings true that like the worst things that he could have done, Tokyomi could have done, he did in that episode. Like not like just the worst. Oh yeah, and also the media died as well. So fuck, everyone's fucking dying. Let's see if anyone else dies in episode 5, then, shall we? So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 5. I really enjoyed that episode. I think more so than other shows, this show really benefits from having that like sort of dedicated episode to a specific character, and having their backstory. And I think Emiya was definitely in need of it. I mean, I always figured it would come out in some fashion, like form or fashion. I didn't know it was going to be like this. But I really enjoyed that episode. So it's called what? The Aramago Island? Aramago. I'm trying to think like what, like where would that be on like in our world? Aramago, like I'm trying to think like what. I wonder if I can actually search it because I kind of want to know. If I put Aramago locations, I'll just bring up Fate. shit, I don't want to. Damn it. I don't want to click on anything because it's going to take me to the fucking wiki, and I don't want to do that in case I see something I'm not supposed to. I was just typing it in just to see if like it would give me like some ideas to like where it like, you know, in terms of its like language. There's something here that says like Colombia, Arimago. It does sound a bit more like Spanish. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that was the name of the island. And where he sort of grew up for a bit. I don't know how long he was actually on the island for. Like, he said that like he came on the island. That obviously he's you know, he's like from a Japanese family, and so obviously he wasn't born on that island, but he came in. They couldn't pronounce his name, so that like she just ended up calling him Kerry, and that kind of caught on. I did say like during the episode that like, oh yeah, it's not hard to pronounce Kiritsugu, but Kiritsugu, but I'm guessing like that is a sort of, you don't get the same, because it's obviously telling a story, and you know the voice actors aren't from wherever Arimago would be. You know, you don't get that. You don't get like the accent and the language sort of barrier. So I'm kind of guessing, you know, that, you know, depending on where they are, if it is somewhere like, you know, near Colombia, South America or something, an island over there, that, you know, with the accent it might be hard to pronounce Japanese sort of sounding names. So yeah, we'll just go with that. Well, like, her name is Shirley, and Shirley is like, you know, Shirley is not something you'd think of when it comes to like a sort of Spanish kind of name or whatever. I might be just talking about this a bit too much because you know, I don't think it means all that, you know, I don't think it even matters all that much. I don't know, it could just be in like, you know, maybe an English settlement. But yeah, whatever. So we've got to look at his dad. I don't know what happened to his mother. Yeah, I have no idea. But clearly they didn't come to the island with their mother. Or with his mother, I should say. But yeah, we've got the whole thing with time magic, which means it's that sort of time alteration magic is something that's passed down through the Kiritsugu family. I'm assuming, unless it started with his dad. I don't know. Interesting though, at the end there when he was talking about the, you know, the root, and it all sort of leads back to the root. You know, pun intended there. Because that's sort of like the amalgamation of magic in this world is the root, right? So, you know, it is interesting to see, like, you know, across, it's expanding across all the different important families. Even in case of like, in the case of, you know, Kiritsugu, who that sort of family has been a bit distant from the other ones. Like, you know, with Tosaka, it's like, you know, and Kenneth and whatnot, the Archibald, it's like sort of up front. It's like that's their, that's sort of like the driving force in those characters is their family, right? And that's sort of pushed. Whereas with like even with Carrier and like the Mato family and whatnot, that is sort of heavily like, you know, pushed as well. Like that's a big part of his sort of character. Whereas Emiya's is like the whole family thing and mage, like being associated with like magic, and being like a sort of like a mage sort of family. It's not heavily as pushed, and I'm thinking maybe that's sort of like the reason why the you know, that's like that is the way that it is, because Emiya seeing exactly what magic does firsthand. I think, you know, it's you know, it's, I don't think it's too far out of the realm of possibility just to say that like the reason why Emiya doesn't, you know, it's not focused on as family, and you know, he's not all that keen on all that mage kind of stuff, which is why he tends to focus on you know, using like physical weaponry and whatnot. There's still like times where he uses magic, though it's not a sort of, you know, his first act is to use tools as opposed to like magic, right? So but yeah, that fucking nuts, man. Like, so his dad, yeah, thought of as a sort of like a sorcerer. I'm guessing the reason why they moved to this Aramago island was because there was a, if it's something to do with the flowers, that there was some kind of foliage that some plant that he needed as an ingredient in order to research this, which actually reminds me of Resident Evil. For those of you that don't know, like Resident Evil or Biohazard in you know, Japan, the way that started was the T virus, right? So the first virus that ever you know, started with Umbrella came from a plant that was in Africa, and it was basically, you know, to sort of stabilize and trying to think of the word, basically bring back dead, you know, dead cells and whatever the fuck, right? So they came back as zombies. Now, interestingly enough, and I don't know if it's just the subtitles, again, like I need to sort of preface that, like, oh, you know, the subtitles could be the thing that's wrong about this, and it could, you know, in the original translation, it could mean more towards the line of zombies. What I'm looking at there is zombies. Like, it's not, I mean, I guess I'll just, you know, I could take it as sort of like, oh, well, it's Fate's version of vampires, so you kind of just have to go with it. But that's definitely more zombies to me, like because vampires have some sort of sense of control. Although I guess there's something to be said about like a recently turned vampire has an insatiable thirst and an insatiable hunger, so they're a bit more feral. But it's definitely, like, it's more zombies to me that really. Because yeah, I think it's the sort of like the whole semblance of kind of control thing, and I was kind of very much confused, obviously when it first come up, and I was wondering whether I'd missed something, but I don't think I did. I think it's just the information wasn't given until later on in the episode, because I was thinking, wait a minute, time alteration magic, how does that correlate to her becoming like a fucking like feral animal zombie type thing, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, how the fuck's that got there, you know? So I knew something was going to happen straight off the bat when she was on the doorstep and she was looking at her plant that had withered, right? She had a look of like, she never took her eyes off it. I don't even think she blinked. Like, and I was just thinking like, fuck. All I could think of in my head was she is like becoming sort of a bit obsessive over that and what the capabilities of, like, you know, like what this could mean for, like, you know, future generations and whatever. Using them for like medicinal purposes and whatnot. Like, she, like, it almost seemed like she had a sort of obsession to reach that. So I always thought like, oh shit, she's going to try too hard and fuck herself over. I was thinking because of time alteration magic, he's talking about being dangerous, like his father, that she would use it, obviously unintentionally, but that she would like use it and then fuck with something and kill herself because of it. There was also like the moment where, you know, fucking the father came in, basically said, have you been in the storeroom or whatever the fuck, and he told Emmy to basically stay in the house. That I thought that maybe he was fucking like experimenting on her or something. but that turned out to be not the case, and that she turned herself by using that fucking vial of whatever the fuck is in there. I guess it's in the plant, like that comes from the plant, I'm guessing. But he's researching dead apostles. What he wanted was to get these dead apostles to be at a point where they can suppress and resist. I mean, at that point, yeah, then they would be a vampire, right? What I find interesting is that the Mato family, isn't that family vampires? Or is that just the name that they're given because of the practices they do? I think I went through this before. I think I went through this in like one of the earliest episodes. Because when they showed up, I'm sure I had questions about it, like being like, are they actually vampires, or is it just a... Yeah, because Carrier called his father like a vampire, right? As a sort of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of like, you know, almost like as an insult, right? They're not actually vampire. Never mind. Yeah, I was thinking like, well, you know, if they're talking about like vampires, and apparently that's what these dead apostles are, then how they're not correlated to the Mato family in some way. But yeah, it's just the Mato family practices, they're not actually vampires. Yeah. So that woman, I don't think we've got her name, that came in with a shotgun. Fucking like her though. Yeah, this fucking episode just reminds me of Resident Evil. Like, you know what I mean? My fucking earliest memories of Resident Evil are in the mansion with a shotgun shooting zombies. And that's basically what this was right here. And then obviously paired with the whole, you know, going to an island to get a plant, which ends up making almost zombie kind of things. Just so similar, man. So yeah. Interestingly enough, she talked about the how there's two groups that sort of handle this thing. So obviously the Mage Association and the Executors, which is Kire and whatnot, right? So already from this early on, him as a kid, he's already introduced to that group that Kire has been a part of. So it's already established, like, yeah, there's reasoning as to why they're so, like, intrigued with each other, them two. So yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that woman was the same one that we saw in an earlier episode. I think so. I just can't, for some reason, I can't picture her face from back then. But I'm guessing it is. Oh yeah, finally, why did he truly kill his dad? I mean, there was... because even she said it, like, that's not reason to kill your father, right? So there's clearly something, like, more behind the scenes. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, from how little we saw, he doesn't act like a fatherly figure. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem like the sort of the loving type. I mean, for hell, even fucking Tokyomi, he, you know, at least when it comes to Rin, I mean, I imagine he was the same with Sakura, but I don't know. You know, he has that sort of very parently, you know, fatherly sort of doting on his daughter, kind of, you know. Whereas with this, he seems very distant. Like, the family isn't what matters, it's more about his research. I don't know if it's a case of, like, I don't know, just kind of state of shock. I mean, the reason why he was given the role of Masa in this Holy Grail War was because he wanted to save the world, right? I guess that kind of goes back to there, if that is a reason to kill his own dad because of that. Because of, you know, because he can't continue doing his research because it'll hinder the world, right? Shit could be dangerous. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think we got enough explanation wise to determine, like, you know, as to why he just went out and truly killed them. If it's something that is not explained in the future, like in a future episode, and I'm supposed to take something from this episode as the reason why he killed his father, then comment it and let me know, because it's a bit like, you know, if it was told, like if the reasoning for him killing his father is actually in this episode, I think it was very vague and very missable. I didn't really say it, but yeah, I think there's you know, something to be said about, especially at the end of episode 3, when Seiba and Emiya were talking about, you know, war and whatnot, and how he was talking about how, no, it just always leaves people sort of worse for wear. I guess that you could just say that started from right here in this episode. So yeah, I think that's it then. I think that's it for episode 5. So yeah, we're going to get into episode 6. I do believe somebody did say, like, in on Patreon, like, that I should have waited and talked about episode 5 and 6 together at the end of episode 6, because they kind of go hand in hand, like, sort of together. But yeah, there were other people that basically said that I should, you know, just keep doing this, you know, talk about episode 5 in this video, and, you know, episodes, because there is enough to go through. I mean, I've dragged the discussion out for a bit, and I've had some, you know, interesting things to talk about. So I think it's yeah, I think it's all right. But yeah, that was also. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. Discord, get yourself over there. I'm over there. Community's over there. Get yourself involved. SirMonkeySuit.com, my website. All my content is over there. Get yourself over there. Join up, become a member. And on the forum page, there is a reaction recommendations list. Basically, you know, post in there what show you want me to watch. And the top 10 liked posts will be put into a poll. And the whatever wins in that poll will be the next show that I watch. Yeah, so make sure you go over there and do that. And Patreon, I do have a Patreon. If you do want to support me, that would be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and awards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there is early access for $5 a month, you know, shows a week early, and also for Fate you actually get 4 episodes every week. $10 a month, that's a full length, so everything I react to gets a full length. You get access to my full length library. $15, that's the exclusive tier. There is a poll going on at the minute to see what is going to be the next show that I watch in the exclusive tier. Basically, yeah, it's like a bonus show that those patrons get access to while it's airing. It was Mob Psycho 100, but it's going to be something else whenever that poll finishes. $50, that is the elite tier, so that gives you a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It'll go to the back of the list by about 7 shows. Might take me a while to get around to it, but I will do eventually. But if you want to jump the queue and go at the very front so that your show gets reacted to next, then you want to get God tier, which is $100. And that is all. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.